we'll put the food crisis in the Horn of Africa in context and ask why the problem escalated. And focusing on Somalia, we'll ask where the long-term answer lies in getting this country on track. Earlier this week, I spoke to our East African correspondent, Zan Rice, in Nairobi, to get a sense of the scale of what's happening. I asked him what areas had been affected.
Kenya, Ethiopia, Somalia are the worst affected areas. Parts of Djibouti and Uganda have also been affected, though.
And the famine was declared in 2 regions of Somalia on the 20th of July. What's been happening since then? How has it developed?
Well, since then, famine's been declared in an additional 3 areas. 2 of them in the capital, Mogadishu, or very close to the capital, where large numbers of displaced people have gathered. And the aid effort, since famine was declared, obviously the aid effort was stepped up in a really big way. And a lot more food aid is getting into Somalia than was the case a month or 2 ago. However, there are still significant problems in accessing the worsted areas because they're held by Islamist rebels.
Give us a sense of context. You talked there about droughts every couple of years. How bad is this? And obviously everybody wants to know, how does it compare with, Ethiopia in the early 80s?
Well, this is certainly very bad. I mean,
A great deal of what we throw away is useful and valuable. In effect, we are burying money. But it doesn't have to be this way. Food, for example. Live in North London and you can throw a half-eaten apple in a compost bin. It's collected and taken away to a processing site. Then it's treated, turned into high-quality compost. Now it can help a tree, with all its valuable apples, to grow. But in England, only a quarter of councils provide this service. The urgent message being given by MPs today is that we need to learn how to reuse resources.
It's about waste altogether, and it's really moving away from the throwaway society that so many of us have been brought up in.
Until 5 years later, when the BBC visited a factory making Gap clothing in Cambodia.
We've been told there were some children here making clothes for the Gap. This is Sun Tida. She's 12 years old. She told the factory she's 18. This is Chan Sita. She's 14. She too lied to get the job. Monitors never questioned either of them.
Oh, come on, that is no excuse. If a child gained entry to a bar using a Pinkberry punch card as a fake ID, it's the fucking bar's fault. Oh, it says here your middle name is One Free Topping. Cool middle name, have fun in there. In response, Gap revoked approval of that factory and enhanced their age verification requirements, which sounded pretty good. Besides, it was the year 2000 and they had that ad campaign where pastel morons did the mambo, so we kind of forgot all about it again. Until 7 years after that, when a British newspaper visited a workshop in India.
According to a published report, these children aged 10 to 13 were working as virtual slaves, stitching embroidered shirts for Gap kids.
OK, stop. Having children make clothes for Gap is bad enough. Having them make clothes for Gap kids is somehow worse. Hey, make a beautiful shirt that's exactly your size, we'll ship it around the world, it'll be worn once and thrown away. Now make 1,000 more for me. In response, Gap said it didn't know its clothes were in that workshop and demanded its supplier make significant improvements to its oversight of subcontractors. And everyone felt better, especially because it was 2007. And Gap had just had that mind-blowingly cool Holiday in Your Hood campaign with Common.
Fell into the Gap, they rock in the hood. Seen peace in the streets when I stopped in the hood.
Almost all money comes in the form of loans in our current economy. It's all debt. So if that debt is going to be directed anywhere, then we need to reform the banks in a way where the money actually gets to productive use, like banks were originally for, rather than speculation, shadow banking, pushing up property and the other stuff, which only leads to an over-indebted nation.
The Diamond Jubilee and wet weather, 2 reasons why they have been cited for contributing to this deepening recession. Do you agree?
Well, obviously there's market forces, but we're dealing with a much greater trend that goes beyond any kind of Olympics that we're seeing in the UK right now, or any kind of weather issues. Of course, those affect certain businesses, but they don't affect other businesses, so that's a good thing for other businesses. It's definitely a scapegoat, not looking at the greater issues, which is all down to our banking system right now.
But the quick solution seems to be austerity, even though economists, perhaps you can tell us why austerity does not work.
Well, austerity is not going to work because we have to remember that we've got an economy right now which is reliant upon ever-increasing levels of consumer debt, ever-increasing levels of corporate debt, and also when those don't work, when they're maxed out on their credit cards, it's ever-increasing levels of government debt. So we have to stop pretending that we're trying to actually pay down our debt, because the effect of ever paying down the debt is a decrease in the economy. It's a decrease.
Well, the rapid increase in the levels of alcohol and drug abuse in South Africa over the past decade has seen the age of first experimentation with the drugs dropping to 10 years and below. Gauteng alone has seen an increasing number of female learners engaging in drug abuse. In a joint operation with the Sophia Town SAPS and the Gauteng Education Department, a raid was conducted at the Westbury High School on Friday morning. Well, for more, we have in studio, that's Clara Monagotla. She's the National Community Developer and Trainer at Sanka. Good afternoon, Clara, and thank you for your time on the PM News Desk.
Good afternoon, Krishni.
Well, substance abuse is skyrocketing on the local front. What kind of substances are being used at our schools right now, Clara?
The most drug of choice is cigarettes, alcohol, which leads to binge drinking, and then we have dagga cases and also nyaope, whereby most of the young people, they start experimenting with cigarettes and then use these other illegal drugs at the end of the time.
But is policing the schools the right answer, Clara? But surely students will just now